Lincoln Riley, in just 7 years as a head coach, has earned himself the title QB Whisperer, coaching 3 Heisman winners at 2 universities while winning over 80% of his games. What if his best days are behind him? Is he still the offensive guru that everyone claimed him to be? Let's double click on that. When critiquing Lincoln Riley, the easy thing to do is to target the defense he has fielded since he took over reins as head coach.
To be fair, he has come off seasons finishing 94th and 121st in team defense, and hasn't fielded a top 50 defense since 2020. But that's all been discussed.
Lincoln Riley is known for his high IQ on and off the field.
So when he left Oklahoma, just coming off winning 4 straight conference titles, for USC, a program that had averaged 5.5 wins in the 4 previous seasons, that should have been an indicator that Riley detected something amiss in Norman. And there was.
Although much has been made about Riley dodging the SEC, which may be valid, something offensively went wrong with the Sooners Riley's last 2 years at Norman. Early in his career, Riley was known as an air raid disciple, coming from the Mike Leach coaching tree, but quickly developed his own identity, mixing air raid concepts with RPO. He was able to manipulate defenses with his formations, often making them pay over the top.
Starting 2020 and into 2021, Riley's offense suffered in success rate and total PPA, showing a decline in Riley's ability to catch defenses off guard, and defenses were able to learn more about his tendencies. He wasn't able to get into manageable down and distances as frequently, with a drop in standard downs rate, and his success in the manageable situations also diminished.
Most of this falls on what started happening at the line of scrimmage on the offensive side of the ball.
The total line yards in 2020 through 2021 plummeted, and along with it, the rushing play success also fell. With this, Riley began to abandon the run, overly relying on his passing game to carry his teams to victory, and often, because of Heisman-level talent, he was able to do so. But even still, with the passing rate growing up, the overall success rate of these plays started to falter.
Have these trends carried over into Southern California? Unfortunately for Riley and the Trojan faithful, they have.
Although Riley was able to climb a little out of the 2020 through 2021 offensive funk he was in, he still has yet to recapture the type of production he had in his early years at OU. When considering his whole coaching career, Riley is trending negatively for total first downs, net passing yards, passing touchdowns, possession time, passing yards per attempt, and passing yards per completion.
The trends become glaringly negative when you start looking at rushing attempts, rushing yards, and total yards.
This over-reliance on passing versus a more balanced rushing-passing attack has led to Riley's offense to grow more and more inefficient each season.
In Riley's worst season as a head coach, they had career lows for rushing attempts and rushing yards, and the second lowest for rushing yards per attempt. What are driving these trends? Part of it is Riley's struggle with recruiting. Recruiting was one of the reasons Riley left OU for USC. But if that was true, Riley was mistaken for what a change of scenery could do.
Riley's recruiting class points and rank have been trending downwards since 2017. This has led to others noting that there may be an apparent ceiling on what Riley can do as a recruiter.
It would be easy to think that Riley's struggles with recruiting primarily lie on the defensive side of the ball, but it's actually the offensive line that seems to be the issue that Riley struggles with recruiting year over year, leading to the rushing production issues.
Offensive line recruiting has been declining for Riley-led teams for his last 3 recruiting classes, overlapping when Riley left Norman for Southern Cal. Although part of this can be pinned on Riley's own struggles recruiting, this is also an endorsement for the impact Bill Bedenbaugh, the current O-line coach and previous coworker of Riley at OU, had on Riley's offensive line. Riley was reported trying to bring Bedenbaugh to USC with him, but the coach decided to remain in Norman.
When looking at Riley's O-line recruiting, it's pretty clear why he started to throw the ball more.
Even considering the transfer portal, Riley has won 4 transfers for his O-line, with 3 of them being rated a 3-star and 1 lone 4-star.
The declining offensive line class, the next step is to start losing running backs, which has actually already started happening with Taylor Tatum choosing Oklahoma over USC.
Even with Riley losing guys like Tatum and struggling to win local and national talent, he is still fielding talented teams. In fact, USC's last roster was Riley's most talented team he has fielded, hence why ESPN slated them at 6th in preseason power rankings, and some experts predicting them to be a playoff contender.
And yet, Riley finished the regular season losing 5 of their last 6 games, which makes you think, what will happen when he doesn't have a Heisman quarterback?
When breaking down Riley's seasons with a Heisman-winning quarterback versus his seasons without one, the data shows that he has considerably less total yards, total touchdowns, passing yards, passing touchdowns, rushing attempts, and third down conversions.
Heading into a conference known for its emphasis on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball without Caleb Williams, the odds don't appear to be in USC's favor. Do you think USC will exceed expectations?